Hey gang, Demir from Lifehack Method. Right now, the world is getting hit by a huge curveball, all of us at the same time. But even when this is over, we're gonna have to learn how to deal with the other curveballs in our life, the divorces, the business failures, the death of the loved ones. In this series, I'm covering 4 steps that you can use to get through a crisis, to take back control, and to step into positive action. So step 1 was looking at our shattered expectations, mourning them, and developing an acceptance practice. In step 2, we harnessed negative visualization to reclaim our focus from fear and anxiety. And here in step 3, we're going to use gratitudes to regenerate a positive outlook on life. I'm not Mr. Woo-Woo here. I'm not here to tell you you should be grateful because it's ethical or the right thing to do. Quite the contrary. It's the most selfish thing you could do. Let me explain. In order to move through this crisis, you need to develop a positive vision of the future. If you try to move forward into the future filled with fear and dread, it's not going to happen. Your animal brain will take over, sabotage your actions, and put you in freeze mode. So selfishly, if we want to move forward, we need to create a positive vision of the future. And the bridge from today, when we're feeling negative, and tomorrow, where we feel positive, is gratitude. And I get it, it's easier said than done. You can't just go from being sad to being happy. When we've genuinely suffered a crisis and we're actively mourning, we don't want to see the silver lining. We're not ready to let go. We're not ready to accept the loss. And that's why it's so important that you get step 1 and 2 right. If you find yourself unable to see any silver linings, it's time to go back a step. Make sure that you've mourned things properly. And even then, in the beginning, it's just going to be tough here. But here's 3 questions that you can use to start to build up gratitude and positivity. 3 levels of gratitude. 1. What gratitudes were hidden that this loss or crisis suddenly revealed? We know we take things for granted, even when we have them. And a crisis removes those blinders. We realize how much we should have appreciated that thing that was taken away, how precious it was. But remember, other gratitudes are being uncovered as well. Your health, the people around you, having fortunate circumstances. These are the easiest gratitudes to experience during a crisis. And you've heard people saying it, starting sentences like, well, at least I have my health. At least I have my family. At least we had our savings. At least we have our house to fall back on. So let me ask you, has this crisis brought you closer to a family member or a higher power? Has it shown you what's really important in life? Has it made you feel grateful for something you have that other people don't? Gang, you can be grateful for that. Let me tell you a quick story. I used to have painful, chronic migraines. Today I have medication for them, thankfully, but in the past they would go for weeks and weeks and weeks. I mean, unbearable, unbelievable pain. And I remember when I finally just felt normal, I was so grateful. Just the absence of blinding pain felt like a gift. And I realized that feeling normal every day is a gift. It's something you can feel grateful for. So I get it. You're still mourning. You're still sad. But inside of that sadness, you can start identifying things to be grateful for. Deep pain can reveal small pleasures, and deprivation can breed gratitude for the things that we still have. That's all you need to make a start. You don't have to give up your mourning in order to start being grateful. That's the first level. Everybody can find that kind of gratitude. All right, 2, how has this crisis actually created some unintended positive impacts? As they say, whenever one door closes, another opens. So what door has opened for you? And it doesn't mean that you're endorsing what happened in order to see the positives that have come out of it. It doesn't. So for example, so many people wished that they could work from home in a flexible work situation before this whole crazy pandemic happened. And here we are. It happened. If you can see this level of gratitude, it means you're starting to move through the mourning process. You're not consumed by negativity and fear anymore. You're starting to see positives. So ask yourself, what unintended positive impacts has this crisis created for you? Has it got you working from home? Has it forced you to pursue that side business? Has it made you serious about your health again? Again, you're not endorsing the crisis by seeing these things. That's a false choice. You can't control the crisis, but you can choose to identify the good that could possibly come out of it. Okay, now, before I tell you the third and final question, just be warned, this is real hard stuff. Massive ownership, and you may never get there, and that's okay. 3, how was this crisis the perfect thing that could have happened? Hold on, let me explain. So many times in our life, we look back and the worst thing that happened to us later becomes a blessing. And sometimes it takes years or decades to see. And you should never feel rushed, but just imagine that person who got a sports injury and they couldn't play professional sports anymore, and it moved them into a career that later became their dream career. That person looks back and says, actually, that was perfect. The worst thing that could have happened to me ended up being the best thing. And I have a personal story like this. I had a business that went under, took all of my life savings, and left me $100,000 in debt. But that's how I met my wife and started this company. I can actually look at it now and honest to God say, I wouldn't change a thing. And I get it. This is the hardest level of gratitude because we're doing something we never ever dreamed we could do, which is endorsing the crisis, saying that it was actually in the end a good thing. Again, don't rush this. Maybe it comes, maybe it never does. But just asking the question forces you to rearrange your narrative. So just to recap, this video was about finding the silver lining, moving into gratitude so you can regain control of your narrative, create a positive vision for yourself in the near future. And that positivity is going to be paved with small gratitudes that we build step by step. Okay, gang, this was the third video in a 4-part series on overcoming crisis. Now, in the next video, I'm going to talk to you about how to reset a plan that's been disrupted by a massive crisis. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you're obsessed with human potential and living your best life like I am, consider subscribing to this channel so we can get more of these videos to you in the future. I'll see you in the next video.